Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Symbiotic. I'm Friendly Neighborhood Steve.
And I'm Grim. And this episode, we're going to be going over my story. So, just get right into it. Or?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah,
All
just
right.
tell me all about you.
Well, I guess my story starts back when I was about 6 years old. That was when I was diagnosed with bipolar depression. I had at this point a lot of trauma I had already been through. My parents had gotten divorced. She got remarried. We had moved states. All sorts of big life events that happened all at once. And I have a family history, genetic history of mental illness. So my mother took me to go get diagnosed. I was diagnosed with bipolar depression. My father was later diagnosed with that. All that. So like, it is genetic. And let's see. Later on in life, I guess as I got older, I struggled quite a bit with my mental illness, coping skills, managing my emotions, and all that. I had a real big problem with anger. Anger was a tough one. Did a lot of things that wasn't exactly in control, but I still regret. You know. But fast forward a little bit, I started using alcohol to kind of mitigate the lack of self-regulatory skills. That was about age 18. I started drinking. I found my aunt and uncle went on. I lived with my aunt and uncle. They went on vacation. I found a whole case of limeritas. They're disgusting. Disgusting. But I drank the whole case in one night, and I was like, this is pretty fun until it wasn't. It's pretty fun until it wasn't. But then I didn't really stop drinking at that point. I just got better taste. I found what I liked, and what I liked is Jack Daniels. And I thought I had a handle on it for a while. Just like, oh, whatever. Everybody winds down with the drink at the end of the day. You're
Right.
like, has a 6-packet, and some liquor at the outings and all that. I justified it. But then my marriage, I got married, and that was okay for about a year, and it started going downhill. In hindsight, largely to do with alcohol. But my answer, instead of working on the issues in my marriage, and by this time we'd had a child together, my daughter Amber, and instead of working on excuse you,
No free rides.
right? Instead of working on the issues in my marriage, I drank more, which clearly was, did not solve anything. I ended up getting divorced. I was pretty active in my daughter's life at this point still. I wanted to be present even though I was still using alcohol and such to deal with things. I never drank in front of her, and I was never like drunk when she was conscious. She was always asleep when I would go get drunk, which is not.
Damn, dude, you got a friend.
I got a friend. He can stay there, I guess. But that doesn't make it right. But eventually my ex-wife got remarried, which I was happy for her, you know. Seemed like a decent enough fellow. But then she decided that my daughter only needed one father in her life. Cut me off. And at this point I had been in and out of homelessness. Started using cocaine because the alcohol wasn't enough. Couldn't get drunk enough to manage my shit, so cocaine it was. And then when my daughter was ripped from me, I started to go pretty hard, you know, into my addiction. I was smoking a lot of weed, doing a lot of coke, and drinking a lot of alcohol. Pretty much fucked up all the time.
Yeah.
Even at work, you know, I had a rule for a long time where I wouldn't drink at work. I wouldn't drink while I was working, which I didn't drink while I was working, but I did do blow while I was at work. So,
right.
Because that's so much better.
Right.
But I lived in a college town, and it was a pretty common occurrence in the restaurant industry to be very high at work.
Yeah.
And I ended up losing my job. I'd gone in and out of work after that, you know, not able to really hold anything down. I lost my apartment. And a buddy of mine moved me out to Sacramento, the other side of the country.
Yeah.
Where his addiction and my addiction became an issue.
Right.
They clashed. So I ended up becoming homeless in Sacramento, in downtown Sacramento. Which, if anybody knows anything about downtown Sacramento, there is meth everywhere. And at this point, I had traded cocaine for methamphetamine.
Okay.
It's way cheaper. It's way cheaper.
Yeah, it is.
But I it was to the point where I was sacrificing my health for my addiction. I was eating and stuff, but you know, I was living on the street. I wasn't really taking steps to rectify my situation, and I started using more and more because it was just so available. You know, if I didn't have it, somebody else had it.
Yeah.
You know, if I wasn't smoking, somebody else was smoking, which means I was smoking.
Right.
And there was a couple times I went into psychosis.
Shit.
Meth-induced psychosis. Yeah. Thought there was like secret societies, and like I was in this like top secret homeless training military program thing. Like it was wild, but it was like, it felt real. You know, it felt real. And then I would come out of it and I was like, boy. Yeah. What did I do? You know? And so I decided that I needed a change of some kind. At the time, the change wasn't stopping drugs. It was moving places. So I walked from Sacramento to where I am now, Reno, Nevada, on foot. It took me about a week, which sounds like a lot, but when you're high, it's not as bad. It still sucks.
Yeah, for
it
sure.
Still sucks.
For sure.
It was cold and it was uphill the whole way, and I didn't walk for like a week after that. I just slept. But here, once I got here, I was still using and still drinking, still doing all that. I guess I skipped some things. That's okay. There was a point back in 2019 where my mental health really reached a low point, and I did try to take my life. I thankfully was unsuccessful, but that was really like a turning point in my like cocaine usage.
Yeah.
Which is the only reason I mention it. It was kind of like, all right, well, if I'm gonna be here, I might as well make it suck less.
Right.
Which is not, drugs was not the solution to make it suck less, but you know, numb and all that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I came to Reno, and most of the people that I came across were in the same lifestyle that I was.
Okay.
Homeless drugs, you know, it's just like large population of culture in that particular demographic. I mean, anywhere you go, you're gonna find people that are into the same things.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
But I didn't really. Took me like about 4 months here when I really started to like look at myself, you know, and be like, look at my whole pattern and like the things and decisions that I had made, and started to be honest with myself about the fact that maybe the solution that I was using was actually the problem.
Right.
That maybe the reason I couldn't hold a job and the reason that I was homeless all the time, you know, in and out of housing and not housing, the reason I lost my daughter, the reason I lost my marriage, like all of these things, you know, partly the reason why I tried to kill myself. Not the whole reason, but one factor.
Yeah.
Was the addiction, you know, and I had spent all this time in chasing this thing when what I should have been doing was putting the pipe down and putting the bottle down and trying to get my life back together.
Right.
And so for the first time, this is about a little over a month ago, for the first time was like realized that I had an issue, and that my life was very unmanageable, and I could not continue on down that path if I wanted things to be different, which I did, which I do, not did, do. I do want things to be different. So I tried first by myself.
Yeah.
I lasted 2 days before I kept using again. It became very apparent very quickly that I could not do this on my own.
Yeah.
And that's about the time that I met you. I hope you don't mind me pulling you into this.
No. You know, it's your story, bro.
And you play an important role in that story. I got into a sober living program here in Reno, and it was about the time that I met you, and you were the first one to get me to even consider going to AA. I had not previously considered. I didn't realize, at this point I realized I had an issue with drugs, but I didn't really realize that I was an alcoholic either, you know. I also and I went into the rooms, and I have 27 days today.
Hell yeah, you do, bro.
Yeah. 27 days ago, I went to my first meet. Well, not 27 days ago. 27 days ago, the first time I was clean.
17 days.
17 days ago.
We started going to AA.
We started going to AA. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I had made it I had made it about 2 weeks before the rooms. But I was struggling, you know. And the rooms really helped. They helped a lot. And I'm at a point now where I get symptoms still. You know, I still get some symptoms. But I don't find myself experiencing the same desire. I have my moments, you know, just like anyone in addiction, regardless of how much time you have. It is an addiction. You know, I have my moments, you know, things get rough and you're just like, damn, I wish I had a ball right now. Yeah, I wish I had a bottle. You know, it doesn't mean that you have to act on it.
Right.
And it's okay to be in these moments, you know, as long as you catch them.
Yeah.
You know, we all have our you know, inclinations and patterns of behavior to work on.
Right.
Even in sobriety, regardless of how much time you have.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back to being a homeless addict. I want to reach a point where I can fight for my daughter back. You know, I want to reach, like, I want to continue down this path, and I look back at the path that I've walked, and I don't like what I see. I don't like who I was. I don't like what I was doing. I don't like the consequences of what I was doing. But when I look at the path forward, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
You know, there's for the first time in my life, there's promise. There's prospects. There's potential. There's goals. I have goals for the first fucking time.
Hell yeah.
You know, I'm rediscovering passions that I've previously stopped caring about.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
and it's a beautiful thing. It doesn't mean it's always easy.
Yeah.
But it is worth it to me. And I think at this point that's what kind of matters.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
You know. And that brings us to today.
Yeah.
Where now we, you know, are bringing our story to you in hopes that maybe you can learn from our mistakes and you can learn from our example, and hopefully gain some value from it, you know, and whatever that means to you. And that's the whole point of this, is that if we can help one of you, then all of this becomes worth it, you know. And that's why we're doing this. And that's really all I got.
All right, dude. Well, shit, man. I really appreciate you telling your story, man. I know this is your first time and it wasn't easy, you know. Like I always say, man, it takes a lot of spine and a lot of balls to get up here and do that, you know.
Yeah.
To make yourself vulnerable and open yourself up, you know. Especially like, dude, 27 days of sobriety, man. This is your first go around, you know. Like, this is all brand new to you.
It's all fresh.
Yeah. So like, you know, and I know I have experience previously with recovery and sobriety, but you know, and that kind of helped. I like to think that it helped kind of jump you ahead, you know, in a way.
Definitely. I mean, I even in the rooms, not just with you, but with others as well. Like, I reached a point where I've spent my whole life learning the hard way.
Right.
People have tried to tell me, you know, they tried to warn me, they tried to bring it to my attention, but I was a stubborn son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I still am, but you know, I'm tired of having to go through it to learn it, you know. And
Yeah.
at this point, I'm very open to learning from others and taking advice, and where you couldn't tell me shit before.
Right.
You couldn't tell me a goddamn thing. You could try, but I wouldn't fucking listen.
Right.
But now I'm like, please tell me the thing. Like, please, like, I don't want to have to go through any more hard knocks courses. You know, like I've got my diploma. I don't need another one.
Yeah. And that's time for the recovery diploma.
Yeah. Well, and that's it's a whole new experience for me. But I thankfully, through hearing the experiences of others and you know, stories of relapse and stories of successes and recovery, I can gather the information, and I can put together a what do you call it, not an agenda, I can put together a list of things that I can do in a practical way, so that I can have the most optimal likelihood of success.
Well, yeah, I mean, that goes back to, you know, something we talk about all the time, like, you know, you and me, like daily maintenance.
Daily maintenance.
You know, the daily reprieve and stuff like that. We, you know, we practice that every day. You know, we read 86 through 88 of the Big Book. You know, we pray, we meditate.
Go to meetings. Even especially a big thing that plays a big factor for me is the fellowship.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's the brotherhood that we find. You know, and that's brothers and sisters.
I was gonna say, don't forget about the sisters.
But it's the camaraderie that you get and the support. Just like people that I don't even fucking know are just like, listen, bro, I genuinely fucking give a shit about you.
Yeah.
If you find yourself in a situation where you feel like using it again, fucking call me. Wake my ass up.
Yeah.
I'm like I just met this dude, and he like, or chick, and they genuinely give a fuck. Genuinely. Like you couldn't go up to like most strangers and just be like, hey dude, you know, could you like, you know, be available for a phone call potentially at fucking 4 o'clock in the morning to sit here and listen to me for 3 hours, rant to you about why I feel like I need to use again, and then convince me not to. Or not convince me not to, but, you know, be there for me when I need it. Right. You know? And most people are like, you're fucking out of your mind.
Yeah.
But like, you go into these rooms and that's the move. It's the standard, you know, like it's the vibe. Like you have all these people who have gone through the same things that you are, and like, listen, if I could save you from going through my pain, fucking please.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
Dude, it truly is, man. Like, but the thing is, like, being a member of a 12-step program, like, it's your responsibility to be there.
Yeah.
You know, for like the newcomers or anybody that you make a connection with and a bond and stuff like that. You know, and it's I don't know. For me, it's addicting. Like, I can't wait.
We are at it.
To like, yeah. I have an addictive personality, dude. Like, I cannot wait to meet new people, meet new newcomers. I can't wait to be of service and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. I can't speak for you, but like, one of the reasons why I bring up the fellowship in support of addiction is it's not even necessarily for those who are there for me, but when I have the opportunity to be there for someone else, I fucking forget about my problems.
Oh yeah.
Like, my problems go away. I don't know if you have the same experience, but for me, like, if somebody's in need, someone's like, yo, bro, like, I've got the X, Y, and Z going on, and I'm like, I really want to drink right now, you got a second to talk to me?
Yeah.
Everything else that I don't care what else I had going on, I could have been itching.
Oh yeah.
Itching. I could have been itching for something, right? But what they've got going on right now becomes my world.
Yeah.
Like everything else that I had prior just melts away. And then afterwards, I feel, one, I got to help someone, so I feel good about myself. Right? Which is fine. That's fine. It's selfish, but it's fine. It's okay.
It's a good kind of selfish.
It's a good kind of selfish. Right. But then I noticed too, like, you didn't want to have symptoms, like withdrawal symptoms. I go to a meeting or I help someone, and they alleviate.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like helping someone else also helps me.
Yeah, it's almost like you're healing your soul.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly.
Like it's just medicine or magic for the soul. You know, just being selfless. And like, yeah, it makes us feel good, but that's a fringe benefit, you know what I mean? Like,
you know, they don't even have to be in the program. Like the other day, I was having a hard time, and I was really struggling. You know, I was on my way to a meeting, and I came across. I didn't tell you about this. I forgot, but I came across these two gentlemen who the car broke down, and they're like, "Yo, bro, could you help us like push our car into this parking space so we don't get towed?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, fucking absolutely," you know. And I did. That's all I did. That's all I didn't. We didn't even speak.
Yeah.
All he did was ask me to help him move his car, and we pushed this thing like 10, 20 feet. And it was like, oh, thanks. Have a good day. But I fucking forgot about everything I had going on.
Yeah.
After the fact, like I didn't go back to worrying about it.
Yeah.
I was like, I felt good. I was well, one, I got exercising. But then on top of that, it was just like it doesn't even have to be someone in the fellowship.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, is like the happiness that we get from it is a byproduct. You know, we want to be selfless, we want to be of service, you know, and it's not to, like, I'm not doing it selfishly to like make myself feel good. Like, that's not the reason I do it. I do it because I want to.
It's a byproduct.
And it's like, yeah, it's a byproduct. It's like, oh, and then as a bonus, I get to feel good.
Because it's not I feel good and I helped them. It's I got to help somebody.
Well,
not I had to help somebody. I got to.
Right.
Privilege. And then because of that action, this reaction happened.
Well, also,
which is feeling good.
You know, it's not like I did this to feel good.
No.
I only helped them to feel good. You know, like that.
No.
That's not what we're about.
That's not the same thing.
Yeah.
And we just want you to understand. You know, it's but yeah.
You got any final words of wisdom for our viewers? You know, especially those who are struggling or new to this. You know, some tips that like helped you kind of. Because, like, dude, you're gung-ho about your recovery, and, like, you're hitting the ground running. So, like, what is it that makes, you know, this passion, you know, makes you just, like, dude, I need this, I want this, like, I love this type of, you know, like, I'm all about my recovery.
Oh, whatever your motivation for being clean is, whatever your motivation for your recovery is, right? A piece of advice that I was given in the beginning that I still apply today is to go as hard in your recovery as you did in your addiction, right? So basically, you're filling things like when you take something away, whether that's a behavior or a habit or whatever. In this case, it's addiction, your active addiction. So drinking or using or whatever it is, replace it with something good. Right. Don't leave that slot open for something else. Put something else in that slot. So I removed my usage of drugs and alcohol, and I replaced it with my recovery. Right. And when I feel like I'm struggling, I add more recovery. Right. Whatever that is. So whether that's helping someone else, whether that's fellowship. Whether that's meetings, whether that's you know, whatever it is, whether it's this podcast, right, this is part of my recovery.
Absolutely.
This helps fill that gap in my soul. So not my soul, but you know,
I get you.
Yeah,
I get you.
You know, in my life that that was previously filled with active addiction.
Right.
So make sure that you're adequately filling the space that was previously occupied with your addiction with something that contributes to your recovery.
I like it, dude.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all for watching. We really appreciate it. You know, please like and subscribe. You know, all that good stuff. You know, you'll hear from us soon, and we hope we helped at least one of you out there.
And follow us on social media as well. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the big ones.
Yeah, you know, and chances are you'll find us under Symbiotic 195 or 195 Symbiotic.
Yep.
It's a special number to us, and maybe one day we'll share it with y'all. Y'all have a good day.